Salatu wassalamu ala Sayyidina Muhammad wa ala alihi wa sahbihi ajma'in. Dear brothers and sisters, Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi ta'ala wa barakatuh. SubhanAllah, here we are, brothers and sisters, the last 10 days of Ramadan. We started Ramadan 20 days ago. Time passed as if it was flowing water, SubhanAllah. So many things have happened this Ramadan, brothers and sisters. So many people who were with us in the beginning of Ramadan and they are not with us in the last 10 days of Ramadan. I myself have done so many different, subhanallah, funerals and janazas and things like this, subhanallah. It's been an amazing time, wallahi, this Ramadan. How many families that we know are in critical situation, whether it's financial, whether it's because of health. So many families have been quarantined. So many families that we go to and we distribute food, and that we have been distributing food to, subhanallah, during the month of Ramadan, that are not allowed to come outside due to they having to do quarantine because they were exposed and things like this. It has been many lessons. We have learned many lessons in this month of Ramadan, dear brothers. And this is what the month of Ramadan is about, is what did we gain from this time, these blessed moments, these blessed days, these blessed nights, that Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala reminds us that فَبِأَيِّ آلَاءِ رَبِّكُمَا تُكَذِّبَانِ. How many favors of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala will you deny? Ramadan is a favor, dear brothers and sisters. Use it wisely in every possible way that you can, because we have no idea if we will see the next second, the next minute, the next day, or the next Ramadan. So, dear brothers and sisters, when not only us in this country here, we have finally, in some ways, tasted what it means to think about what future might look like. A lot of us were just used to, subhanallah, that we never thought about that we may we may have financial issues, we may not have a job, we may not have we don't know what the future really looks like. Many parts of the world, especially the Muslim world and the non-Muslim world, people are used to this. They've never seen stability in their lives, constantly for years and years. I mean, think about, subhanallah, Afghanistan, 50 years of nothing but war. Somalia, 50 years of nothing but war. Iraq, 50 years of nothing but war. Syria now, 8 years of war. Subhanallah, over millions and millions of orphans, refugees, people moving from one place to another place, from one camp to another camp. Subhanallah, they are now camped in Syria, dear brothers and sisters. Some of us may not even know of, and we work on the ground. Right? I mean, subhanallah, people have been told to move this. They come to a place, and then they've been told from this place to this place because it's no longer safe for them. So there are Muslims and are going through situations that are unbelievable, subhanallah. A lack of hospitals, lack of medicine, lack of housing, lack of cleanliness. I mean, just imagine the kind of procedures we're taking, right? Whether it's in our businesses, even in our homes and organizations, whatever it is that we're in our masajid, the rules, whether it's 6 feet, the social distancing and all of the other things that we are going through here to make sure that people are safe, we are safe. Wearing masks, wearing gloves. I mean, subhanallah, the kind of precautions that we are taking to make sure that you're safe and we are safe, right? I mean, we are visiting hospitals. We have been visiting nursing homes. We have been visiting many brothers who are sick, brothers and sisters, subhanallah. There are brothers right now, as I speak to you, on their deathbed. Maybe you saw the post that I put up yesterday. I was with a brother, subhanallah, 48 years old. 48 years old, subhanallah. 4th stage cancer. The doctors have basically told him that, you can just take him home because we can't do anything about it. He is now in the hands of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. He's in the hands of God. And the family brought him home because if he was in the hospital or if he was put in a nursing home, they wouldn't be able to visit him. They wouldn't be able to go see him inside. They wouldn't be able to see him if he was passing away. So now he's home. The whole family is basically seeing him every second as his health deteriorates, and him passing away in front of the children. This is something that many of us have not been through, never seen this before, subhanallah. But these are lessons, dear brothers and sisters. These are lessons, and we have to take We have to learn from these lessons. We have to understand that we are as vulnerable as anyone else. We live in the same world as many parts of the Muslim world, or many how people are suffering in conditions that people are living in. So, dear brothers and sisters, Ramadan these are lessons that we are to learn in the month of Ramadan. We are in the last 10 days. Only Allah knew that if we were able, if, it's a favor from Allah that we were able to see the first 20 days of Ramadan. Now, the last 10 days, the last odd nights are coming up. Laylatul Qadr night is coming up. A night that Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala mentioned in the Quran saying, Inna anzalnahu fi laylatul qadr. Laylatul Qadr khayrun min alf shahr. And وَمَا أَدْرَاكَ مَا لَيْلَةُ الْقَدْرِ. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala emphasizing about this night of Laylatul Qadr, the night of power, the night of decree, a night where so many people, it will be written for them whether they will go to Jannah or Nar, their rizq, what their future will look like. All of this will be written in these nights that are odd nights. We ask Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala to give us the opportunity to be able to see and to gain the rewards of this night, inshallah. We ask Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala to be able to give us the tawfiq to stand in these nights and to worship Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala and ask not just for ourselves but for this ummah of Muhammad sallallahu alayhi wa sallam. The Prophet sallallahu alayhi wa sallam, he said, those who witness the month of Ramadan, as we know that he mentioned three categories, and one of them was that if one has a mother or a father, one parent or both parents are alive and they don't gain forgiveness from Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala through them, then woe to him. He has nothing to do with me. Another place, the Prophet ﷺ, he said at the end, like as he was stepping up on the minbar, and he kept saying Ameen and Ameen and Ameen. The Sahaba asked, why, how, we heard you saying Ameen Ya Rasulullah, and he said, Jibreel came to me and he said such and such, such. And one of the things that he mentioned was that when you witness the month of Ramadan and you have not been, and that person didn't work hard enough to gain the mercy of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, gain the forgiveness of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, then woe to him, and he has nothing to do with me. So let's say we were busy or lazy first 10 days of Ramadan. Or let's say we were busy or lazy the second 10 days of Ramadan. Here are the last 10 days, brothers and sisters. Here are the last 10 days. Take every opportunity to do what you can, that wallahi we may not see next Ramadan. We may not even see the nights of Laylatul Qadr. Every night in these 10 days are important. We are home. Subhanallah, in some ways it's a favor of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. It's a favor Allah Azza wa Jalla has given us. We are home. Many of us, right, many of you, they're not going anywhere. They're sitting at home. Here are the nights. People used to complain, man, I want to do this, but the next day I got to be at work at 7 in the morning, 6 in the morning, man, I work 8 hours a day, such and such. All kinds of excuses were given. Here, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala removed all the excuses from us and made it clear, وَمَا خَلَقْتُ الْجِنَّ وَالْإِنسَ إِلَّا لِيَعْبُدُونِ. You have no choice but to worship Allah Azza wa Jalla anyway. But Allah Azza wa Jalla not only gave us, now Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala said, here's the opportunity. We can spend days and nights worshiping Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, asking forgiveness, seeking the pleasures of Allah Azza wa Jalla, thinking about this ummah, reading the Quran, reflecting on the ayat of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. And finally, dear brothers and sisters, the Prophet ﷺ, he said, the one who, as long as a mu'min, a brother, a Muslim, he takes care of his brother, Allah will continue to take care of him. As long as you think of your brothers, your Muslim brothers and sisters, and you take care of the needs of your brother, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala will take care of you. And look at our situation today. How many of us are thinking about our own future, about our own, what next day looks like? People are planning day by day, month by month. Everyone is having to do that. Organizations, masajid, businesses, everyone is thinking, let's see, we cannot, it has to be day by day, brother. We don't know what's going to be, what next day looks like. Kids are not sure if they will be going back to school. No one knows anything. Because in Allah ala kulli shay'in qadir. Everything belongs in the hands of Allah. Allah is the one who is qadir over his affairs. He is the one who's in control. And this is why Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala says, you either come to Allah, he said to, in Surah Al-Imran, for instance, Allah Azza wa Jalla mentioned to the earth and to samawat, he said, either you come to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala willingly or unwillingly. You don't have a choice. You will have to come to Allah Azza wa Jalla. And same thing with us, brothers and sisters, to tell you the truth. Either we go to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala willingly and submit to Allah Azza wa Jalla willingly, and gain the reward and the pleasure of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, and mercy of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, and forgiveness of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, or we have no choice but to go anyway. We have no choice but to go anyway, and that would be the smart one. A person who understands will say, I will go back to Allah, the one who created me, the one who protects me, preserves me, gives my family, gives everyone, the whole earth, everything in it, taken care of by Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. Dear brothers and sisters, there's a hadith of the Prophet ﷺ mentioned by Imam al-Ghazali. He mentioned in his fiqh al-Sirah. He said in the hadith, he mentioned when the Prophet ﷺ was sitting and he gave a hadith, he was talking about a hadith. And when he was speaking, he said there will be a time on the day of judgment, there will be some people that Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, that even Allah Azza wa Jal will put some people on these, on thrones, and they'll be given this crown that they will wear. That when even the Anbiya and the Shuhada will be jealous of them. When they see them, even they will be jealous to say, who are these people that Allah Azza wa Jalla has given this type of honor and status? May Allah raise our status in this dunya and the akhirah. So they will be told, these are the people who went to the aid of their brothers and sisters, even though there was no nationalism involved, there's no tribalism involved, there was no blood relations involved, there's no family involved, nothing. The only reason you did what you did was for the sake of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. And just because of that deed that you did, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala will raise your ranks in such a way on the day of judgment. And this is what we want, brothers and sisters. This is the actual status that we want from the akhirah, that Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala forgives us and gives us that Jannah. This dunya is worth nothing. All of us are realizing this. No matter what we do for this dunya, it's not worth it. At the end, it will leave us or we will leave it. Nothing is going to be there forever. I was with a brother yesterday, as I said, he was passing away, and we had a scholar there. We have nurses coming and visiting in the house and things like this, and just we're watching the brother as he deteriorates. Wallahi, brothers and sisters, the only thing that I was thinking of, and I said, subhanallah, this brother, doctors can't help him. Scholars sitting there can't help him. Teachers sitting there can't help him. His friends sitting there can't help him. His family sitting there can't help him. His sons are sitting there, can't help him. No one can help him. One brother was scholar, he said, Wallahi, this brother, I know him since he was 14 years old. No one, you will not take anything with you. We will not take anything with us. Nothing. The only thing that's there for that brother, and that will be there for us, is our good deeds. What did we do for the sake of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala? What did we do? These are the only things that we're going to take to our graves. And how many of us are unaware, subhanallah? The grave that is going to, this a guarantee, as we say, brothers and sisters, nothing is guaranteed in life except one. Kullu nafsun dha'iqatul maut. Maut guaranteed. You can say to your child, the one who's born in front of you, you can say to that child, I promise you, I can't promise you anything in this world, but one thing for sure I can promise, which is you are going to die. You're going to die. That's a promise I can make for you. You can make that promise to your son, your father, your wife, your daughter, your mother. It doesn't matter who. That's one promise you can say, and you know it's a guarantee. So how can we neglect what is guaranteed, brothers and sisters? How can we neglect what is guaranteed? There's even one hadith or one statement by Abdullah ibn Abbas. One time he said, I was making i'tikaf, as many of you or people might, we would go at this time, get ready for making i'tikaf and all of this. SubhanAllah, may Allah make it easy for us and accept our intentions, even if we can't do it. He said one person came and he spoke to one Sahabi, and then he left. So Abdullah ibn Abbas was in i'tikaf and he ran after him. And one other Sahabi held him. But he ran anyway. He spoke to that man, he came back. And so the Sahabi told him, what are you doing? You were in i'tikaf. You cannot just leave like this. He said, taking care of the affair of a Muslim is more than the i'tikaf. Dear brothers and sisters, you know the situation in Syria. You know we are working on the ground. We are there on the ground. You've seen me many times working on the ground from the Sham, whether it's from so many different parts of Syria, subhanAllah. Brothers and sisters, we are building shelters. You know those homes that we are building. Many of you know about them. Many of you may not know about them, but these are homes that are seriously needed. These are homes that will house uh, the widows, and it will house the orphans. It will give them security, a sense of security that they have a house. It will be owned by them. They will own this, because zakah it cannot be given unless you give it to them and they become authority over it. So it will be their home. These are cement and brick homes. It will have hammam. There'll be a bathroom in there. There'll be a kitchen in there. There'll be a living room in there. We're providing even heating in there, and the whole sanitation is being built around these homes. Inshallah, the goal is to build 1,000 homes, but we are already at almost 500 homes. In the last 10 days, in this, make an intention that you will do an action that will support a brother, a Muslim, a family, a widow, an orphan for years and years to come. We're taking them from shelters, from camps, from areas that are dangerous. Just imagine being an orphan and being a widow in a war zone, in a war zone. On the top of that, with this whole COVID situation, with all of things going around them, there is no security and there is no stability. We have been able to work in an area which is protected by the Turks. In that area where is Jarablus and in northern part of Syria, which is Azaz and those areas, we are actually building homes that have the land has been donated. Brothers and sisters, as I said, we have reached 500 already. We can do another 500. We can do another 500. 1,000 families will be housed with the help and tawfiq of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. So inshallah, this day one, from the last 10 days of Ramadan, this is our first appeal regarding that we want to make a project every day, inshallah, discussing with you different things that we are doing in different parts of the world, and including the US. Brothers and sisters, wallahi, we appreciate, we we love you for the sake of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. We ask Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala to give you from places you couldn't even imagine. May Allah protect and preserve all of you. Your help and your support with the help of Allah and tawfiq from Allah has meant so much to us. So many people, imagine 1,000 people eating iftar every night of Ramadan. Food packages, thousands of food packages have been distributed in the month of Ramadan. And in subhanallah, we cannot thank Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala enough that He has been using us. He's using us even in this time where things are unstable. So we ask Allah Azza wa Jal to accept it from us and accept it from all of you. Jazakumullahu khairan. Wassalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi ta'ala wa barakatuh.